Imagine a world where the script for romantic pursuit is just completely reversed, like totally flipped.
Okay, I'm listening.
So you come home from a long, really exhausting day at work, and there is a guy waiting for you at the front door.
Right.
But he's not just waiting. He is wearing like silk boxers, a pair of cowboy boots, and he's ready to do a choreographed pole dance for you in the living room.
Oh, wow. That's an incredibly intense visual to walk into.
Right, and it actually gets weirder.
No way.
Yeah. So he proudly shows you his hope chest. And inside this chest, he has carefully folded 6 lavender bow ties that he's already picked out for his groomsmen to wear at your future wedding.
I mean, I think most people would be slowly backing out of the driveway at that point.
Exactly. You'd be terrified. And let's say every time you stroll past a baby clothing store at the mall, he gets like visibly choked up.
Oh, well.
He keeps giving you ultimatums, desperately asking, where's my ring? Why won't you commit to me?
Yeah, you'd be out the door in seconds. Because that level of desperation, that absolute overwhelming need for external validation, it's just suffocating.
It really is.
It immediately triggers a fight or flight response um, in the person on the receiving end.
But here's where it gets really interesting and honestly a little bit tragic.
How so?
Well, as terrifying as that guy sounds, society essentially conditions women to act with that exact same level of desperation to, quote unquote, catch a husband.
Right, the whole double standard.
Exactly. So today's deep dive is into a stack of excerpts from Sherry Argov's really provocative book, Why Men Marry Bitches.
Yes, a classic.
And our mission today is to completely deconstruct the conventional good girl rule book, understand why following it usually just backfires, and explore how throwing it out is the actual secret to winning long-term respect.
I love this topic. But before we go any further, we absolutely have to clarify the author's use of that word in the title.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's a loaded word.
It's extremely loaded. But in the context of this book, Argov is using it in a completely, satirical, tongue-in-cheek way. She's essentially reclaiming the term.
Okay, let's unpack that right out of the gate. She doesn't mean someone who is cruel or abrasive or mean-spirited, right?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I mean, it has nothing to do with being unkind or playing malicious games.
Okay.
The author uses the word to describe a strong-spirited woman who is, entirely secure in herself. She has her own identity, her own passions. And
She just won't compromise herself.
exactly. Most importantly, she won't compromise her core self just to secure a relationship. She is perfectly happy giving a partner space because she genuinely cherishes having her own space.
So to understand why this self-possessed independent woman wins out in the end, we really first have to examine her opposite.
The nice girl.
Right, the nice girl who follows all of society's terrible, outdated advice. The sources point out that your typical mainstream fashion or lifestyle magazine treats dating like a really labor-intensive blue-collar job application.
Oh, the messaging women receive is relentless.
Yeah.
And it's deeply rooted in a very transactional view of romance.
It really is. These articles tell women they need to serve their man cold beer while wearing trashy lingerie.
Right.
Or they need to leave razor-sharp creases in a man's shirts like they're, I don't know, gunning for Employee of the Month at a roadside motel.
It's absurd.
It's all about serving, pleasing, anticipating his every need, and just bending over backward.
Well, let's dig into the underlying psychology of how that hyper-accommodating behavior is actually received by a partner.
Yeah, I'd love to know what's going on in their heads.
So when a person operates with this desperate pick-me attitude, or acts like a relationship is a wage they're owed because of all this domestic hard work they're putting in, it actually hits the kill switch on a man's desire.
Wait, really? It kills desire.
Absolutely. The author points out that men are very observant of these social dynamics. For instance, they watch women at weddings, and the conclusions they draw are pretty fascinating.
Oh my gosh, the wedding observation in the book is so painfully accurate. The bridesmaids all dressed up like Tinkerbell.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
the photographer takes a highly staged picture of all these bridesmaids surrounding the bride, staring adoringly at the giant rock on her finger.
Yep.
Then the bouquet is tossed, and the single women practically trample each other to catch it, like their lives depend on it.
It's like a contact sport.
It is.
Yeah.
And men observe this absolute frenzy, and they make a mental note. They realize that a significant portion of these women are just in love with the idea of marriage, the status of a wedding or the fantasy of a fairy tale.
And the guy standing at the altar is ultimately just there to fill position. Like, he's basically interchangeable.
Right? Like a cardboard prop in her personal fairy tale.
That's wild.
From a psychological standpoint, for a man, a needy woman equates to entrapment. He starts to feel that she doesn't actually love him for his unique qualities or his mind.
She just needs a husband. Any husband.
Precisely. She just desperately needs a relationship to feel whole and validated in the eyes of society.
Yeah.
And the supreme irony here is that, according to the extensive interviews the author conducted, men aren't inherently commitment-phobic.
They aren't.
No, they crave love, partnership, and marriage just as much as women do.
But they just don't want to feel like they are checking a box on someone else's rigid life plan.
Exactly.
There is this great analogy from the text that I love. The author says that bending over backward to please a man trying way too hard right out of the gate is like a little kid walking up to a schoolyard bully on the very first day of school.
Oh, right.
And the kid just says, "Here, take my lunch money and my cupcakes. You know what? Just take my lunchbox too."
Because it establishes a completely lopsided power dynamic from day one. I mean, you are negotiating from a position of absolute weakness.
Yeah, to build on that, it's like a business offering a massive 90% discount on a premium product before the customer has even walked in the door.
Right.
It immediately makes the customer wonder, wait, what's wrong with this product? Why are they so desperate to get rid of it?
That is a perfect way to look at it. If you devalue your own boundaries and your own time, the person sitting across from you will devalue them too.
But I have to push back a little on the overarching societal narrative here.
Okay, go for it.
Because women are constantly told that being sweet and accommodating is exactly what guys want. If a woman shouldn't try so hard, what is a man actually looking for to consider a real future with someone?
Are guys really sitting around wishing women were less nice to them?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's not about wishing they were less nice. It's about the presence of mutual respect.
Of respect.
Yeah. This brings us to the first core relationship principle in the text. There is nothing more fundamentally attractive to a man than a woman who has unshakable dignity and pride in who she is.
So the nice girl thing is just a surface level attraction.
Exactly. A man might casually date or sleep with a woman who is desperate to please him, but just because he enjoys her company in the short term doesn't mean he's evaluating her for the long term.
That makes sense.
Men commit when they respect a woman's strong mind. Respect is the absolute bedrock of long-term romantic commitment. Without it, the attraction just fades.
And understanding that respect is the foundational glue really dismantles the first major illusion these sources tackle.
The illusion of perfection.
Yes, society pushes this exhausting idea that a woman has to be flawless, perfectly agreeable, endlessly sweet, and have zero negative emotions to earn love.
It's impossible.
But the author argues that men actually get bored incredibly quickly by women who are too perfect.
Because perfection doesn't feel authentic. It feels like a performance.
Right.
If a woman walks into a date acting like she's gliding down a catwalk, giggling on cue at every unfunny joke, and, ordering a salad with 2 olives and a drop of low-cal dressing on the side.
A classic first date move.
Right. But a man unconsciously marks her as temporary. He assumes she's putting on a highly curated, artificial show just to trap him into a commitment.
It's so funny. The book compares this to a beauty pageant, which is hilarious, but also kind of devastating.
Okay, the cow analogy.
Yes. Pageants are essentially treated like county fairs where farmers parade their prized Jersey cows across a stage.
Yep.
The cow twirls around, judges inspect it, give it a blue ribbon, and everyone politely claps.
It's a brutal comparison, but it works.
The author notes that intelligent men find it genuinely embarrassing when a woman poses and smiles like a pageant contestant, pretending to be perpetually chipper and passionately obsessed with solving the global shortage of flower pots.
I mean, it's that desperate best-in-show audition mentality.
Yeah.
If a man assumes that this flawless behavior is fake, and he usually does, because nobody is actually that perfect, he won't take her seriously as an equal.
He just sees right through it.
Exactly. Instead of seeing her as a complex partner to navigate life with, he sees the dynamic as a sideshow. He thinks, she's trying so hard to impress me, I will never actually have to break a sweat or step up my own game.
So this is where the rubber meets the road. If men assume these hyper-accommodating, perfect women are just putting on a show, How do they figure out what a woman is really made of?
Like, how do they test the waters?
Exactly. What is the psychological mechanism they use to test those boundaries?
That is the exact mechanism the author calls the relationship frisbee.
Ah, yes. This concept is brilliant. I really want to dig into how this works.
It's a fascinating psychological phenomenon. Because men are so accustomed to women trying too hard to please them, they will deliberately, often subconsciously, test a woman to see how hard she's willing to work for his approval.
Okay, so they throw the frisbee.
Right. They throw a metaphorical frisbee to see if she'll immediately drop everything, run, and catch it.
Like tossing a stick for a golden retriever to see if it'll bring it back. Or to put it in tech terms, it's like pinging a server just to see if it responds to your commands.
It's exactly. They are testing the system's compliance.
Wow.
For example, on a second or third date, a man might casually mention that he really loves it when women wear red toenail polish.
Seems innocent enough.
It seems innocent, but it's a test.
Yeah.
If she shows up to the next date having rushed to the salon to change her toenail polish to red just to please him, well, she caught the frisbee.
She proved the server is compliant. She showed her cards.
Yep.
By doing that, she signaled that she values his momentary approval over her own established routines and preferences.
And he loses a little bit of respect for her.
And the sources have some fantastic real-world anecdotes about women who absolutely refuse to catch the frisbee.
I love these.
Yeah, so there's the story of Kara. Early on in her relationship, her fiancé, who she playfully refers to as Versace in the book, tried to dictate what she wore. She was getting ready to leave for a business meeting in a tailored pantsuit, and he casually told her she should change into a dress.
Wow.
Right. He also dropped a comment that she was wearing too much makeup.
And let's analyze what the quintessential nice girl would do in that scenario.
The nice girl goes into full panic mode. She runs to the bathroom, scrubs off her makeup, throws the pantsuit in the trash, and runs to the mall to buy a whole new wardrobe of dresses that fit his exact specifications.
Right. She catches the frisbee.
She catches it. But Kara didn't do that. She put him in check immediately. She basically looked at him and said, "Listen here, Versace. This outfit is fine, but if you want, I'll let you know when I'm wearing this in advance. And if you don't want to see it, you don't have to come over."
That is just, it's such a powerful response because it's not mean, it's just incredibly firm.
Right. There's no yelling.
Exactly. By not requiring his input or permission on how to dress her own body in the morning, she communicated, "I am secure. My world does not revolve around your aesthetic preferences."
Yep.
The author emphasizes a crucial point here. To be perceived differently, you have to think differently. You have to genuinely believe your choices are valid.
There is also the story of Angela, which I think a lot of listeners will relate to. She had a date on a Friday night and went out for Chinese food.
Okay.
She took all the leftovers home in doggy bags. The very next night, she had a date at her place with a different guy.
Ah, I see where this is going.
Now, instead of sweating and slaving in the kitchen for 3 hours, trying to play the perfect domestic goddess cooking a 5-course meal from scratch,
She just reheated the Chinese leftovers, reorganized them on a nice plate, and served them.
yes.
And the result was fantastic. He loved it. He even found a fortune cookie in the mix, praising her quote-unquote catered bin din.
Now, I should mention the author notes one highly technical gourmet cooking tip for this strategy.
Whoa, what's that?
Don't microwave the parsley. It gets soggy and completely gives the game away.
Ah, a vital pro tip.
But the deeper point is, neither Kara nor Angela felt any internal pressure to overcompensate. Let's pause on that for a second, because if you are listening to this right now, think about your own life. Think about the last time you started dating someone.
Did they casually suggest going to a restaurant that you secretly hated, but you said, "Oh, I love that place, let's go," just so you would appear easygoing and low maintenance?
Exactly. You caught the frisbee. It goes against every instinct we have to not accommodate a new partner.
It does, because society tells us accommodation equals love. But in reality, when Kara and Angela refused to bend over backward, it earned them profound respect.
Because they held their ground.
Right. The cultural expectation was that they would knock themselves out to impress these men. When they calmly refused, it signaled that they valued their own time, comfort, and dignity above the desperate need to be liked.
Yeah.
If we connect this to the broader landscape of attraction,
Yeah.
it's about refusing to be a doormat.
Right.
The book actually mentions a great quote from country singer Tim McGraw talking about his wife, Faith Hill.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so in a documentary, when asked about her, He didn't immediately brag about her massive fame or her striking beauty or her incredible singing voice.
What did he say?
He praised the fact that she is a straight shooter who absolutely does not take any BS from anybody.
Oh, wow. So he respected her backbone above everything else.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the next massive misconception. The book dismantles. So we've established that bending over backward emotionally kills respect.
Right.
But the sources argue that changing yourself physically or morphing your lifestyle to please a man destroys that respect just as fast. The idea that you have to be his ultimate sex toy.
Oh, this is a massive point of cultural confusion, heavily perpetuated by mainstream media, movies, and men's magazines.
Oh, absolutely. The book describes these nudie magazines where a model is depicted in the most absurd scenarios.
Oh, yeah, they're ridiculous.
Like she's sitting on a bale of hay in the middle of a cornfield, totally naked, or hanging upside down from a tree branch wearing nothing but stilettos and sucking on a lollipop.
Totally natural.
And her dating profile inevitably says her biggest turn-ons are eating Twinkies and naked kayaking.
I mean, it's a completely absurd male gaze caricature of what a woman is.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, many women see these magazines or see this portrayed in media, and they internalize it.
They think that's the standard.
Right. They think this is the impossible standard. This is how I have to behave to keep a man interested. I have to be this one-dimensional, hypersexualized freak show.
But that's not true.
But the psychological reality, according to the vast number of men interviewed for this book, is quite different. A smart, grounded guy doesn't actually want to marry a little girl or a living cartoon character.
Yeah, that makes sense.
When he comes home from a grueling day navigating the real world, the absolute last thing he wants is to find his adult partner naked on the porch, wearing pigtails and watering the tulips.
He'd think she was completely detached from reality. He'd wonder if she was having a breakdown.
Exactly. Men want the whole package. They want a highly competent partner who has her feet firmly planted on the ground, someone who is resilient, who can handle the mortgage, the stress, and the reality of life when he's not around. And this concept of being a fully realized adult translates directly into how a woman chooses to dress, which the book explores deeply.
This part of the book was wild to me. It says that when a woman wears highly revealing clothing, like showing everything right out of the gate, a man often assumes she has nothing else going for her.
Yes.
But worse, it claims this actually triggers deep-seated male insecurity.
It does.
The author gives the example of frayed lingerie. She says, if a woman is wearing a sexy bra, but the hook is bent or the elastic is frayed, a man's imagination runs wild.
Okay.
He assumes it's been violently snatched off by other lovers, and it gives off this everybody's community property vibe.
Right.
Wait, I have to stop you there and push back on this because that sounds like a massive leap. A bent bra hook means she's promiscuous.
I know, it sounds crazy.
Are guys really out here in the heat of the moment psychoanalyzing the tensile strength of a bra's elastic? Or is this just a really extreme example of toxic male insecurity?
It is absolutely rooted in male insecurity, but it operates on a deeply subconscious primal level.
Okay.
Men aren't consciously analyzing the thread count of the elastic. It's evolutionary psychology tied to mate guarding.
Ah, mate
Yep.
guarding.
Yes. Men are highly visual, but their egos are incredibly fragile regarding a woman's sexual past. When a woman presents herself in a way that is excessively overtly sexualized or wearing things that seem purely designed for rapid removal by multiple partners, it triggers a subconscious alarm.
Interesting.
It signals to him that she doesn't hold her own body in high exclusivity. It's not fair, and it's certainly a double standard, but the psychological mechanism is real. He categorizes her as short-term fun rather than a long-term investment.
Okay, so it's less about the actual bra hook and more about the overall signaling of exclusivity and standards.
Exactly.
There's a story in the text about a couple, Evan and Blair, that illustrates this perfectly. Blair wore a very tasteful, form-fitting silk blouse to work. Evan noticed her, was super intrigued, and asked her out for drinks.
Good start.
But before the date, Blair ran home and changed. She swapped the elegant silk blouse for a cropped t-shirt with massive cleavage, exposed a belly ring, and essentially wore an outfit that screamed for attention from every guy in the bar.
And the book notes that the moment she walked into the bar looking like that, Evan immediately knew the relationship was going nowhere.
But again, think about the mixed messages women get. The media is constantly telling women they need to buy 5-piece crotchless outfits adorned with metal studs. Or, take exotic pole dancing classes at the gym to quote-unquote keep their men happy.
Yep.
If guys don't want the cropped t-shirt and the belly ring, why is this advice everywhere?
Because the media conflates visual entertainment with romantic commitment.
Oh, that's a great distinction.
Right. Men might enjoy extreme visual displays as mindless entertainment, but it doesn't trigger the psychological mechanisms that make them want to build a life with you.
They don't want to marry the entertainment.
Exactly. The expert consensus in the book is that for long-term attraction, men heavily prefer the peekaboo element. Like a long, elegant skirt with a slit up the side triggers a man's imagination far more powerfully than a micro miniskirt that leaves absolutely nothing to the imagination.
Right, because there's no mystery left.
Yes. Not knowing exactly when or if her leg will pop out through that slit is what keeps his brain engaged. It creates anticipation.
It's the mystery. You're leaving blank spaces for his brain to fill in.
Yes. And furthermore, the sources point out that a woman wearing one of his oversized button-down shirts, perhaps with just some simple, comfortable underwear beneath it, is considered infinitely sexier than the metal-studded crotchless outfit.
Why is that?
Because the oversized shirt has a very specific psychological trigger. It has a mine-only feel.
Oh, I see.
It's exclusive, it implies intimacy and comfort, and doesn't scream that she's desperately trying to solicit attention from the rest of the world.
It signals that she is comfortable in her own skin, not performing for an audience.
Exactly.
So, holding back physically maintains respect and mystery. But what about holding back your actual personality?
Oh, this is a big one.
Because it seems like women are also taught to hold back who they actually are. They morph to fit the guy's lifestyle. The book calls this the chameleon effect.
This is perhaps the most dangerous trap, where the nice girl starts acting less like a partner and more like she just joined a highly restrictive cult.
Yes. She completely erases her own identity to mirror his. If he tells her he's a deeply spiritual, grape nuts eating, off the grid guy, suddenly she is doing daily chants and eating raw berries.
Completely changes her life.
Right. If he mentions he's Jewish, she's instantly in the kitchen rolling matzo balls from scratch. If he casually mentions he likes boating, she suddenly has a 10-year subscription to Powerboat magazine on her coffee table.
And the psychological fallout of doing that is catastrophic for attraction.
Because it's so fake.
Well, because doing that makes her completely readable and entirely predictable. When a man knows he has a 100% hold on your personality, when he knows you will instantly morph into whatever shape he desires, the challenge is gone.
There's no push and pull.
Right. He doesn't have to put in his 50% share to maintain a reciprocal relationship. The friction is gone, so he stops trying.
I think of it like an algorithmic echo chamber on social media.
Oh, that's a good comparison.
You know when you click on one video of a golden retriever and suddenly your entire feed is just dogs?
Yes.
At first it's great, but after a week of seeing the exact same thing reflected back at you, you're completely bored and you close the app.
Right.
If you just reflect exactly what a guy says he wants, there's no friction, no novelty. He loses interest.
That is a phenomenal way to conceptualize it. Relationships require a degree of healthy friction to stay alive. Without contrasting opinions, separate hobbies, and distinct identities, the dynamic flatlines.
To contrast the chameleon, the book gives a fantastic real-life example involving the actress Tracy Pollan.
Oh, I love this story.
Yeah, so when she first met Michael J. Fox, they were taping an episode of the sitcom Family Ties. On a lunch break, he walked over to her and made a surprisingly rude remark about her breath.
Out of nowhere.
Right. He said something like, "Man, did you have the garlic scampi for lunch or what?"
Now, a chameleon, someone desperate for his approval, especially given his star power at the time, would have withered away, apologized profusely, run to the bathroom, and, swallowed a whole roll of breath mints.
Exactly. She would have caught the frisbee.
Yep.
But she didn't cower. She immediately put him in his place. She looked right back at him and basically told him he was being a jerk.
Good for her.
She did not suffer fools gladly, no matter how famous they were. The lights were on, and the strong, independent woman was home.
And it worked.
It did. Fox later admitted that in that exact moment, he was captivated. That is the kind of woman a man actually falls madly in love with, a woman with a mind of her own who isn't afraid to introduce a little friction.
It all comes down to adopting one specific overarching philosophy that the author champions approval neither desired nor required.
I love that quote.
It's so powerful. When you are obsessively worried about securing someone else's approval, that person inherently senses it and loses respect for you. But when a man can't easily crack your code, when he realizes you are perfectly happy sharing your life with him, but would be just as happy and fulfilled without him, that is when the fear of loss kicks in.
Oh, the fear of loss.
Yes, that's when he won't want to leave your side.
Sophie Loren said it best. Beauty is how you feel inside, and it reflects in your eyes.
Beautiful.
When you arrive at a date or into a relationship as a complete person, not needing external validation to prove your worth, you carry a very special kind of magic.
Absolutely.
A guy has to wonder about you. You aren't auditioning for the role of his wife. You are evaluating whether he is an advantage to your already fulfilling life.
It fundamentally shifts the entire power dynamic. You stop anxiously asking yourself, does he like me? Am I doing enough? And you start asking the only question that matters.
Which is,
How do I feel about myself when I am in his company? Does he add value to my life?
so to bring this deep dive into why men marry bitches to a close, the sources make one thing crystal clear: bending over backward does not bring the love, security, and attention you crave.
It really doesn't.
Trying to be perfectly agreeable, dressing like a hypersexualized magazine stereotype,
Right.
or, completely erasing your own hobbies to match his, it doesn't make you a dream girl.
Nope.
It just makes you a predictable doormat. Winning long-term respect means maintaining your dignity, setting firm boundaries, and refusing to catch every relationship frisbee that gets casually thrown your way.
Because at the end of the day, the woman a man deeply respects and commits to isn't the one who is flawlessly perfect or endlessly accommodating.
Right.
She is the one who is authentic, intriguing, and challenging. The one who absolutely won't lay down like linoleum just to be stepped on.
Which leaves me with a final provocative thought for you to mull over as you go about your day.
Okay?
If the secret to securing deep romantic commitment is setting firm boundaries, refusing to be a chameleon, and keeping your own identity fiercely intact, how might this exact same framework completely revolutionize the way you navigate other areas of your life?
Oh, that's a great point.
Think about office politics, navigating salary negotiations, or even managing your close friendships. Does society's nice girl rulebook make us doormats in far more ways than just romance?
Probably.
If you stopped waiting at the metaphorical front door with lavender bow ties, desperate for everyone's approval, how much more respect could you command in absolutely every single room you enter?
It's a powerful perspective shift that goes way beyond dating.
Definitely something to think about the next time someone throws a frisbee your way.